Jimin stepped onto the stage in Toronto, and within seconds, the entire arena erupted. Thousands of army screamed as the lights surrounded him, but what happened next took the excitement to another level. The moment Jimin started dancing, Toronto completely lost control. His movements were sharp, powerful, incredibly smooth, and filled with the kind of charisma that made it almost impossible to look away. Jimin was not simply performing a choreography. He was commanding the entire stage. Every step, every turn, every body movement seemed perfectly synchronized with the music. His expressions changed with every beat, creating a performance that felt alive from beginning to end. The screams from the audience became louder as Jimin moved into the more powerful parts of the choreography. Every dance break seemed to trigger another explosion of excitement. Fans waved their light sticks, shouted his name, and captured the unforgettable moments on their phones. What made the performance even more impressive was Jimin's ability to combine power with elegance. 1 second, he could deliver an explosive dance move with incredible intensity. The next, he could transition into a smooth and graceful movement that completely changed the atmosphere. That contrast has always been one of Jimin's greatest strengths as a performer. He knows exactly how to control the stage. He knows when to go all out. He knows when to slow down. And he knows exactly how to make an audience react. Toronto Army experienced all of it during the first night. From the opening moments, Jimin's confidence was obvious. He moved across the stage as though the massive arena belonged to him. His posture, facial expressions, and body language all communicated the same message. He was completely in control. The audience responded immediately. Every time Jimin looked toward the crowd, screams filled the arena. Every time he hit a powerful beat, thousands of fans reacted at the same time. Even his smallest gestures seemed capable of creating an enormous reaction. That is the unique power of Jimin's stage presence. He does not need to constantly make huge movements to capture attention. Sometimes, a simple glance is enough. Sometimes, a subtle turn or a brief smile can make an entire section of the arena erupt. During the Toronto performance, those moments happened repeatedly. His dancing looked effortless, but behind that effortless appearance was incredible precision. Every movement had purpose. Every transition was controlled. Every beat was matched with remarkable timing. Jimin's ability to dance with both technical accuracy and emotional expression was on full display. He was not simply counting choreography. He was feeling the music. His movements followed the rhythm naturally, while his facial expressions added another layer to the performance. When the music became intense, his expression became intense. When the mood became lighter, his playful side appeared. That emotional flexibility kept the audience completely engaged. There was never a moment when Jimin seemed disconnected from the performance. Even between major choreography sections, his presence remained powerful. He knew how to keep the audience watching. He knew how to build anticipation. And when the next beat arrived, he delivered. Toronto became increasingly louder as the performance continued. The energy inside the venue seemed to rise with every song. Jimin appeared to feed off the crowd's enthusiasm, becoming even more expressive and confident as the night progressed. It became a powerful exchange. Jimin gave energy to Toronto. Toronto gave even more energy back. The result was an atmosphere that could not easily be replicated. Fans inside the arena were not simply spectators. They became part of the performance. Their screams became part of the atmosphere. Their light sticks filled the venue with movement. Their reactions followed Jimin's every move. And Jimin seemed fully aware of that connection. He continued to engage with the audience through his expressions, gestures, and stage movements. That connection is one of the reasons Jimin's performances feel so personal despite the enormous size of the venue. Thousands of people can be watching him at the same time, yet his performance can still feel intimate. For a moment, it can feel as though he is performing directly for you. That was the feeling throughout Toronto's first night. The stage lights, music, choreography, and massive production created the perfect environment, but Jimin remained the center of attention. His dancing demanded attention. His charisma held attention. And his expressions made fans want to keep watching. One of the most memorable aspects of the performance was his ability to transition between different styles without losing momentum. Powerful choreography was followed by smoother movements. Intense expressions were followed by playful moments. Sharp movements were followed by graceful transitions. Jimin made every change look natural. That versatility is what makes him such an exciting performer. You never know exactly what moment will become the next highlight. A dance break can suddenly become the biggest moment of the night. A simple smile can trigger thousands of screams. A brief look toward the audience can become a viral moment. And in Toronto, there were plenty of moments like that. The audience's reaction made it clear how strongly Jimin was connecting with them. Fans were screaming his name throughout the performance. Some were visibly overwhelmed by the experience. Others could barely take their eyes off the stage. For many ARMY, seeing Jimin perform live is completely different from watching a video. On a screen, you can rewind. You can pause. You can watch the same dance move over and over. Inside an arena, everything happens once. You experience every movement in real time. You feel the energy from thousands of people around you. And when Jimin delivers a powerful dance sequence, the reaction happens instantly. That is exactly what made Toronto so special. The atmosphere was immediate and spontaneous. Jimin danced. Toronto screamed. Jimin pushed the energy higher. The audience responded even louder. The cycle continued throughout the performance. It was impossible not to feel the excitement. Jimin's performance also highlighted how much he has grown as a performer. His confidence on stage has become one of his defining qualities. He knows how to use the entire stage. He knows how to direct attention. He knows how to build excitement. And he knows how to create moments that fans remember. His choreography is impressive, but his stage presence makes it unforgettable. There is a difference between completing a dance routine and performing it. Jimin performs it. He adds personality to the choreography. He adds emotion to the movement. He adds attitude to every beat. That is why even familiar choreography can feel fresh when Jimin performs it. Toronto was a perfect example. Fans may have seen his performances before, but seeing him perform live in front of them created an entirely different experience. The excitement in the arena was undeniable. Every dance break became an opportunity for Jimin to demonstrate another side of his performance style. When the choreography demanded intensity, he delivered it. When the music became smoother, he adapted immediately. When the moment called for charisma, his expression said everything. And when he wanted to connect with the crowd, even the smallest gesture was enough. Jimin understands the importance of timing. He understands that sometimes the most powerful moment is not the biggest movement. Sometimes it is the pause before the movement. Sometimes it is the look that comes before the beat drops. Sometimes it is the way he holds a pose for just a little longer. Those details create anticipation. And Jimin knows exactly how to use them. The Toronto audience seemed to react to every single one. As the night continued, the arena became louder and louder. The energy never disappeared. Instead, it continued building. By the time Jimin reached some of his biggest dance moments, the audience was already completely invested. Every movement created another reaction. Every expression created another wave of screams. The atmosphere became overwhelming. And Jimin remained at the center of it all. He looked confident. He looked comfortable. Most importantly, he looked completely immersed in the performance. That immersion is something fans notice immediately. When an artist genuinely connects with the music, the audience can feel it. Jimin's movements never looked empty. There was always emotion behind them. Whether he was delivering a powerful sequence or simply walking across the stage, he maintained a strong connection with the performance. That is why the Toronto crowd responded so strongly. They were not only watching a dancer, they were watching an artist. Someone who could communicate through movement. Someone who could tell a story without saying a word. Someone who could change the atmosphere with a single expression. That is Jimin's strength. His dancing speaks for him. His body language communicates confidence. His facial expressions communicate emotion. And his interaction with the crowd creates connection. All of those elements came together during the first night in Toronto. The performance became more than a series of songs. It became an experience. The lights, the music, the choreography, the audience, and Jimin at the center of it all. Everything worked together. But the moment Jimin started dancing, it was clear where the audience's attention was focused. On him. His movements were too captivating to ignore. His energy was too powerful to overlook. His expressions were too engaging to miss. And his charisma filled the stage. For Toronto Army, this was the kind of performance that could create memories for years. Not simply because of the choreography, but because of the feeling inside the arena. The feeling of thousands of people reacting together. The feeling of seeing Jimin standing only a short distance away. The feeling of watching him deliver a dance move perfectly and hearing the entire venue explode. Those are the moments that make concerts unforgettable. And Toronto had plenty of them. Jimin's ability to command attention was especially obvious during the dance breaks. As the music intensified, he became even more powerful. His movements became sharper. His expressions became stronger. His stage presence seemed to grow. It was as though the energy of the audience was pushing him to give even more. And he did. He continued giving everything to the performance. There was no hesitation. No sign that he was holding back. He danced with confidence and precision. And Toronto responded with overwhelming enthusiasm. The crowd's reaction was perhaps the biggest compliment a performer could receive. Thousands of voices coming together. Thousands of light sticks moving through the darkness. Thousands of people experiencing the same moment simultaneously. That was the atmosphere Jimin created. And it was impossible to ignore. By the end of the performance, one thing had become obvious. Jimin had left his mark on Toronto. He did not simply appear on stage and complete a performance. He created an atmosphere. He created excitement. He created moments. And he gave Army something to remember. The first night in Toronto became another reminder of why Jimin is such a captivating performer. His dancing is technically impressive, but technical skill alone does not explain the reaction. The real difference is the emotion he brings to every movement. He dances with intention. He performs with personality. And he connects with the audience through every detail. That combination makes his performances unforgettable. Toronto witnessed that combination firsthand. The screams, the cheers, the excitement, the non-stop reactions. Everything showed just how strongly Jimin was connecting with the crowd. And perhaps the most remarkable part was that the energy never seemed to disappear. From the first major dance moment to the final stages of the performance, Jimin maintained the same level of commitment. He continued giving the audience reasons to scream. He continued creating moments worth remembering. And he continued proving why his dancing remains one of the most talked about aspects of his performances. For ARMY, Toronto's first night was not just another concert. It was a night when Jimin took the stage and transformed it. He turned choreography into emotion. He turned movement into storytelling. And he turned the entire arena into a celebration of music and performance. When Jimin danced, Toronto responded. When Jimin smiled, the audience screamed. When Jimin delivered a powerful dance break, the arena seemed to explode. And when the performance ended, fans were left with the same feeling. They had just witnessed something special. Jimin came to Toronto ready to perform. But he left the audience completely captivated. His confidence was undeniable. His dancing was mesmerizing. His stage presence was overwhelming. And his connection with ARMY was stronger than ever. The first night in Toronto will undoubtedly be remembered for many incredible moments, but Jimin's dance performance stood out as one of the biggest highlights. He did not need to say much. His movement said everything. His confidence said everything. His expression said everything. And the screaming audience said the rest. Toronto was ready for Jimin. But perhaps Toronto was not ready for just how powerful his performance would be. Because when the music started and Jimin began to dance, the entire arena changed. The energy rose. The screams became louder. And for those unforgettable moments, Jimin completely owned the stage. He was precise. He was powerful. He was elegant. He was charismatic. And most importantly, he was completely himself. That is why the performance resonated so strongly. Jimin did not simply dance for Toronto. He connected with Toronto. And Toronto answered with everything it had. The first night ended, but the excitement did not. Fans continued talking about the performance. Clips continued being replayed. Photos continued being shared. And the memories continued to spread. One thing was certain. Jimin had given Toronto a performance that would be difficult to forget. The stage belonged to him. The spotlight belonged to him. And for one unforgettable night, Toronto belonged to Jimin.